everybody, and welcome to episode 1 of 2 of FANTEAM TONIC. How would I have done there?
Yeah.
A little bit
Very
of a
good.
change up for us three. Obviously, we're usually doing the Dream Team Tonic, but we are doing a little bit for FANTEAM, as me and Ben did in the Euros. James, you had the summer off. Probably a wise choice. Recuperate. But yeah, I like to touch this game. I do love the format. It's FPL with cash involved. And going into this year, they've made a few changes, which they did for the Euros regarding the rules, which I like. I think everyone enjoyed a little bit. With the shots on target, which obviously mixes things up a little bit. So they give players points for the shots on target, plus 0.4 point for a forward. Same for a midfielder, plus 0.6 for a defender's shot on target. And obviously your man Allison James got this one included, but 1 point for a shot on target from a goalkeeper. So fill your boots for Allison. Obviously, another little change regarding the points for anybody who did play it last year. If your team's winning when your player is on the pitch, they've changed that from plus 1 point down to 0.3 points. And if your team is losing when your player is on the pitch, they've took that from minus 1 point down to minus 0.3 point. So a few changes. Obviously, that'll have changed a few things maybe from last year in regards to points for the players, but essentially a lot of it stays the same, which is good. I like the point system. It's very similar to FPL, but without the bonus points. Big player pool. Let's get stuck into who we're looking at, lads, and who we're thinking of good options, especially going into the first 3 or 4 weeks of FANTEAM. And let's touch on a few. So we'll start with goalkeeper options. It's not one that's notoriously heavily spent on. Got some expensive keepers in there, but people do like to play it cheap here. You've got the goalkeeper saves, which give you 0.5 of a point. So if you've got a keeper that's getting peppered for a game, it can get quite a few points, even without keeping a clean sheet or winning the game. So it's one to watch. So go on, James. Who you've got? Who are you looking at for your goalkeeper positions? Obviously, 2 to fill.
Well, I like to go fairly cheap in the goalkeeper position. Hopefully, you get somebody who makes a lot of save points. I think Backman of Watford's pretty good. The good thing about him is you can back him up with Foster on your bench as well. So I like him. Sanchez of Brighton might be worth a shout. But apart from those, I'm not sure about any others. What do you reckon, Tony?
I like the way you using both Watford keepers. You're definitely going to have a keeper playing then, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're never going to miss a game. That's done a lot in FPL. Touched on about choosing both keepers from one side. For me, I think Sanchez. It's a little bit tricky because defensively, I think they've got Dan Burn out. They just lost Ben White. I've seen his clean sheets probably disappear with the news that's coming in. But like you say, the save points make it so much easier to pick a keeper. I think you've got to pick a keeper from a lesser side that will make quite a few saves. So Backman, good option. Sanchez, as you said. David Raya, ex-Rovers keeper, very good shot stopper at Brentford. I mean, if there's ever going to be a team that's probably a little bit peppered in the Premier League, Brentford might be one of them. Who have you got, Ben?
Yeah, agree with the ones you've just said, but you can't miss out Martinez there for $5.5 million. I think he's a great pick. Good start to the season. Who else would I? I'd probably look at Meslier. He's $5 million. It's quite cheap. He was one of the keepers with the most saves last season, and they started playing really really well at the back of Leeds at the end of the season. The 2 United keepers are cheap as well, $5 million each, but looks like Henderson's out for the start of the season, so De Gea could start, and Jordan Pickford, good start to the season, 5 million as well.
Come up with a calamity in one of the friendlies, didn't he, the other day?
Yeah.
Another one.
But they have a lovely start to the season, don't they? They have Southampton, Leeds, Brighton, Burnley, Aston Villa, and
Yeah,
Norwich.
yeah, definitely. For 5 million, it's not bad, is it?
Yeah.
If you stick in a 5 million keeper, probably guess you go. You don't want to spend probably more than 9.5 million on keepers, to be honest.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because you do need that money elsewhere. Well, there's some really good options. Martinez, like you say, 5.5 million. Yeah, because he's not only got the save potential, he's that good. He keeps quite a few clean sheets. So it's probably why he's priced so highly at 5.5.
Saves a lot of shots as well.
Yeah, good, very good shot stopper. Yeah, so let's get away from keepers. Quite a boring position, but yeah, onto the defenders. Big pool. Obviously, right up there at the top, you've got Trent, 7.5 million. Oh, he's worth it, though, isn't he? You got to try and squeeze him in, I think, for me. The attacking output, as well as the clean sheet potential Liverpool have in first few months of the season.
Yeah.
What do you reckon, Ben?
Yeah, definitely. Like, if you're and ahhing over your 7.5 players, Trent's surely got to be in there. Like, you could be and ahhing over a striker or a midfielder that's around the same price. Trent's a midfielder, really, isn't he? But he gets clean sheet points, so yeah. I like having him in my side.
What do you reckon, James?
Yeah, I think that they've priced the players quite cunningly to make it quite difficult. If you're going to go with Trent, I think you're going to have to mix it up with. If you want those big hitters up front, you're going to have to get some cheapies in there, and there's a few I've spotted. I think Brandon Williams could be potentially a good option at 4.5, as is Ben White. There's a couple of 4 million players as well. I'm going to try and pronounce his name. Obamidele. Obamidele, I think. That the Norwich player. He's played quite a bit in pre-season. He's only 4 million. And then you've got Amati as well, although Ben probably know more about him than I would, being a Leicester player. But he did play the last game, didn't he, Ben?
Yeah, he started in the Community Shield.
Yeah.
Played well, but they're rumoured to be looking for another centre half because of the injury to Fofana, and Johnny Evans isn't back yet. So it's a wait and see for me. But he might start the first game, but then he might end up being a bench player after that if they sign another centre half. So it's a tricky one. 4 million.
Dallas.
What about Cancelo?
Yeah.
6 million.
Rotation. Tricky one, that. Yeah, I mean, he could be explosive, couldn't he? If he gets to run of games, he's amazing. But I don't know, will they play with Grealish in there as well? Are they going to let him roam, have that free role that he had last year? Playing as a number 9 at some point? Who knows?
0.6 for a shot on target for a defender. Cancelo loves a shot, doesn't he?
He does.
Obviously, 6 million. It's quite pricey. Obviously, looking down the list, there's some great options. I mean, Maguire, 5.5 for United. Yeah. How many headers does he win from corners? You know, it only takes one, even if it's straight into keeper's arms. 0.6 of a point. They build up them, especially over the course of the season. You want players attacking corners and stuff like that, which you touch on players like. I'd hope to see this lad if Leicester are looking for a centre half, Vestergaard. I think I'd love to see him at Leicester. I think he's an absolute machine.
Kurt Zuma he's pretty good in the box, isn't he?
Yeah.
If he moves to West Ham, or maybe Leicester will look at Kurt Zuma now. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. I think. Do you have one of the most shots per game for a defender last year?
Yeah,
so unbelievable. His shots on target. So players like him to touch on. Obviously, you're trying to trying to utilise the attacking defenders as much as you can. But like you say, James, it's been very well priced, where it keeps you having to keep it quite cheap at back, doesn't it?
It does if you want those big hitters. Yeah, it's very difficult. It's bit trickier than for FPL, I think, with the
Yeah.
player pricing. Yeah,
I think they've been fair though. For
it's fair. Yeah,
one of the first names on my team sheet is Matty Cash, Aston Villa. Very good fixtures, like we just said with Martinez. And then obviously with the attacking returns he can offer. A 5 million, like the look of him. Anybody else that sticks out for you, Ben?
Luca Dean, 5.5 million. Like I said before, Everton fixtures are really good. Set pieces, could be an attacking defender, get a few shot points. John Stones could be a good one as well, but that's a wait and see because he hasn't come back, played any pre-season yet. That's 5.5 million for a starting centre half, hopefully, for City.
Yeah. James?
I think we've covered all the main bases there. I can't think of anyone else.
What about Bertrand at Leicester?
Yeah. Looks like he's nailed, doesn't he? 4.5 million, and he was on set pieces as well. 2 assists against Villarreal. Could be a good one.
He's definitely one to note. Get him jotted down.
Ricardo on the other side. Ricardo Pereira, he was class in the Community Shield. Back to his best. Marked Grealish out the game when he came on.
Yeah.
You think he got 8 tackles in the game? Unbelievable.
They've got a decent run of fixtures, haven't they, as well, Leicester?
Yeah.
Let's not shy away from their opening games. They've got a good run, and they're a very good side. I think sometimes people still underestimate Leicester. You've got a very, very good team there. Another one I think we touched on the other day in the Dream Team pod is Tanganga. Who might be getting the nudge for Spurs. He's only 4.5 million. So there's a lot of players there that obviously you try to keep it cheap as you can to fit in them big hitters. I know a lot of people on Twitter have been with a Veltman at Brighton, 4.5 million. He's a name that I'm always seeing not bandied about. Am I going to say his name right? Ryan Aït-Nouri.
Yeah.
From Wolves. Out of position, possibly.
Yeah. Possible left winger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one to monitor. But then I think he has got a little bit quiet over the last couple of friendlies. But yeah, he's one. And what about Tuanzebe, who's just gone back to Villa?
Wait and
4.5 million.
Wait and see. Yeah, could play anywhere in the back line, can't he?
Yeah.
I like the West Ham fullbacks as well. Cresswell's 5.5. He's on free kicks, corners, and Soufal got 8 assists as well last year. 5 million. I think that's decent.
Another common name, Luke Ayling.
Yeah,
expected to have a good season.
I think he's underpriced.
Yeah,
4.5 million.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think he got any attacking returns last year, but he was very unlucky. He had a goal chalked off, and he's always in attacking positions.
Yeah,
I think he'll have a lot better season this year.
Yeah, he's always mooching around, isn't he?
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily start the season with any Leeds defenders. They've got injuries at the back, haven't they? So maybe one for your first wild card, potentially.
Yeah, that's it. Keep note, just watch them, see how they do. Here's one for you then, James. Timicus. I said that right. 4 million on FANTEAM. Obviously, Robertson's injury. What's the crack there, mate?
Well, he only played 2 games in the Premier League last season. He's looked quite good in pre-season, more so going forward than defensively. I watched the game today. He didn't play. He's obviously been earmarked for tomorrow. Although there's talk they might not play him now. just in case they don't want to be without any recognised left backs.
Yeah,
Some of the Liverpool pundits were speculating that Milner might move back there, or one of the raft of new centre halves that we have. We do have lots of centre halves now. Um, I don't know whether I wouldn't. I honestly couldn't tell you if he's nailed or not. He's never going to get a better opportunity, is he? Though, if Robertson's out, I would personally wait and see. But I mean, at 4 million, if he does start for Liverpool, then he's an absolute bargain, isn't he?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another one I touch on as well is Johnson at West Ham, who's only at 4 million. I
Mm.
watched one of their friendlies the other day against Brentford last week. Played really well. I think that's possibly his spot. Obviously, Soufal's there, isn't he?
Yeah.
But is he not late back from the Euros?
I'm not sure.
Czech Republic.
I've heard he might start because Masuaku's potentially not ready, but only if West Ham play a back five. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
again, I don't. There's probably more likely starters than him, but he might be somebody that comes in later in the season. Keep an
yeah,
eye on that one.
yeah, definitely. He's impressed me any time I've seen him. He's a good player. I think that from top to bottom, I think that's defenders pretty much wrapped up. Like I say, build a pool of players to pick from and then go from there. There's been lots of injuries, loads of transfers, like still transfer rumours going on. Obviously, Lukaku's just been added into the game today. Kane, wherever he's going to end up. So, whether you're going to be able to keep it like really cheap at the back and go heavy in your forwards, or you're going to just have the usuals up front and be able to splash out a little bit at the back is going to be down to all these transfers. But big position, massive players, massive pool of players in here as well to choose from is the midfielders. And I think if we're going to do well in fan team, I think this is the position you have to nail. And you have to have the right players in. Right at the top, there, 12.5 million. Mo Salah. I think
Yeah.
is he not just the first on everyone's team sheet? It'd be tricky to leave him out, or you'd be brave to leave him out.
Well, Mane's. If you look at Mane, he's more favourably priced in fan team than he is in FPL. At 10
Yeah,
million, you could argue there's a choice to be made there.
yeah,
Definitely.
Mane's looked very. He's looked very good in pre-season.
yeah, yeah. The attacking returns, he's had a few assists and goals. Has Salah returned any in pre-season?
I don't think he has, no, but he's been very close. I wouldn't say he's off form. He's getting in
Yeah,
all the right positions. He looks sharp, he hasn't got any goals in pre-season.
he's saving them up for Premier League, isn't he?
Hopefully,
And then you obviously just below Salah there, you got Fernandez, 12 million. These are your luxury players. I mean, these are
Yeah.
what completely decimate your budget. So you struggle to get all these in. De Bruyne, 11.5 million, probably going to miss the start of the season, like has been discussed, and so he's out of the picture for the minute. Sterling at 10 million. We don't know what's going on with Sterling at City, but I believe, I mean, if he will be starting for City, it's a little bit more tricky now. Grealish is there, and obviously with the rumours of him being sold on, but 10 million, yeah, Hong-Min Son, 9.5. Is he going to be main man?
Yeah, I like him at
could
nine and
be.
a half.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think he's a good
Yeah.
option. Especially when you've got Sancho and Rashford just below at 9. Obviously, Rashford's out for the foreseeable. Sancho, new to the Premier League. It's a risk to jump on him straight away. But Son at 9.5, proven. He scores goals. He'd probably be taking penalties if Kane leaves.
Yeah.
I think that's a decent price there, isn't it?
Yeah.
yeah.
Anybody else you want to touch on there, Ben? Big list there.
Mahrez, 8.5 million. Looks like he's the main man
Yeah.
in attack for Man City on free kicks. Kai Havertz for Chelsea should start with Lukaku starting. I think he'll play in the front three. Out of position because he's a midfielder in the game. So definitely worth looking at 8 million. And we just talked about Liverpool forwards. Jota's 7.5 million in the game. I think he will start the season in the front three. So he could be a cheap option. You could maybe double up with Salah or Mane. Well,
Yeah, I think when you look at it like that, if you put Jota and Mane together and leave Salah out, 17.5 million for Jota and Mane.
yeah.
Not bad, that is it?
No.
Go on, James. You want to touch on a few?
Well, hot off the press.
There you go. A bit of this.
I saw Joe Willock is literally going from Arsenal to Newcastle, and he's only 5.5 million. Back end of the last season, he was on fire.
Yeah.
If he seems to fit in very well at Newcastle. They're desperate to get him back, and it's looking like it's going to be a done deal. So for 5.5 million, there's not many better bargains potentially in the midfield than that one, I'd say.
Yeah, massive differential.
Yeah.
Great potential. Like you say, his goal scoring form. Did he not break a record up there, didn't he, for scoring in consecutive games?
I think he might have done. It was unreal, his form, wasn't it?
Yeah, brilliant. Like you say, he just seemed to slot it in. He did well. And it's nice to see that he will end up back there after a lot of times they probably make a different move for more money somewhere else, or usually see that. But yeah, it'd be good to see him go back up there and carry on enjoying his football.
Yeah. I also like Souček, the look of Souček as well, because of the shots on target points that you get in FANTEAM now. He had quite a few shots on target last year, did Souček from midfield. So he could, for 6 million, he might be worth looking at.
Yeah, definitely. Like, obviously from set plays, he's an absolute beast. But he arrives in the box late as well. He's a very, very good player, Souček. So, like you say, 0.4 for every shot on target. I mean, even if you're not having that great of a game, they can boost their points tallies. So you like these greedy players, but people that like to have a shot. What about Mason Greenwood at 7.5, knowing that he's probably going to be starting up top?
Yeah. Good price. Like it.
Yeah. Same price as Rafinha, who's also a good option in that bracket.
Yeah. I think we obviously skip past Foden. Foden who's out for the start of the season. Grealish. I'd probably prefer Grealish at Villa. Do you know if that's an option?
I think he'll start. I think he'll start on the weekend. Grealish, he's surely got to start, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he will.
Yeah, you think so for 100 million?
Yeah, De Bruyne might be out. Foden's out. They haven't got a recognised centre forward really, because Jesus shouldn't start really. They're going to play. I think it'll be Torres, Grealish, and Mahrez up front.
You know what what I'm going to say is, obviously last season we've seen how well Gundogan played in De Bruyne's absence. Now, by the looks of it, if Grealish does play left, Mahrez right, Torres through the middle, Gundogan's got to play behind him, hasn't he? With Fernandinho and Rodri sat in, I would guess.
Yeah. It's just who would you rather have? There's so many options at 7.5 million. Like
it's true, but playing for a City side that, I mean, as we learnt last season, they are fixture proof. It doesn't matter. Like, put the fixtures in the bin. It doesn't matter if he's going to play the next 4 or 5 games in that position. I think he might be a decent option at 7.5 million. Like, if you compare him to, say, a Havertz, who's probably a rotation risk, a Pulisic rotation risk. Gundogan's probably going to... Obviously, it depends how long De Bruyne's out for and other things, but yeah, Gundogan.
What do you guys think of Bailey and Buendia? They're both 6.5 for Aston Villa.
Yeah,
Potential options.
yeah. Apparently, Buendia's picked up a knock. He didn't play today,
Right.
but he should be ready for the game for the
Mm.
weekend. And Bailey, I think he's just come back from the CONCACAF Cup playing for Jamaica, so he won't be starting the season.
Mm. Okay.
Good
But yeah,
signings, both of them good
yeah,
signings. But
but
if it was a choice between the two, I would pick Buendia.
mm,
I think he had a great year in Championship last year. It's a really tough league, the Championship. Obviously, I know it's a step up, the Premier League, and obviously caught with Norwich every year, but he's such a good, he's so talented.
yeah,
He's shown he can do it in the Premier League with Norwich. He's a good signing. And I think when you've got the players like Watkins and Ings, the pace they've got, the ability to run in behind, if you've got someone like Buendia supplying them, I think Villa have bought well. I
yeah.
think they've spent the money wisely. I think Buendia coming in before Grealish even left had kind of replaced him. I'm not
Mm.
saying Buendia is better than Grealish or vice versa. Buendia is a very clever player,
Yeah.
and do you know what? He loves a tackle as well. He's got
Mm.
everything to his game.
Mm.
Spends less time on floor than Grealish. I know that.
That's not difficult, is it? He's an exciting player to. He's an exciting player to watch. I like watching him. When he was in the Premiership a couple of seasons ago, he
Yeah,
did. He was an exciting player to watch. I'm pleased that he's back in the Premier League.
He got double
yeah,
figures in goals and assists as well, didn't he? In the Championship,
He
15,
did,
yeah.
yeah,
16, I
yeah.
think it was.
I was very surprised he stayed at Norwich last year, and obviously, but he's got him back promoted with obviously them figures are amazing what he had for Norwich last year. He's gone back promoted, and I think in fairness, I think they've then allowed him to move, some sort of deal between them, I guess.
Yeah,
But yeah, his loyalty repaired, and he's got his big money move, and I think Villa are a team on the up. Like I say, I think they bought well, and yeah, one to watch. Uh, my darling Mason Mount is there at 7 million. I think we'd probably talk up Chelsea's assets a little bit more if they had a better start to the season, but their fixtures are very. Apart from the first opening game, they've got a tricky run of fixtures. Let's say so. I don't think they get mentioned as much, but again, with Lukaku probably incoming, there's a massive rotation risk now about all these Chelsea players. It's like this probably the same threat that's overseeing all the City assets as well.
yeah,
So it just puts me off a little bit when you know you can pick someone who's probably more nailed.
Yeah.
They're at 6.5 million. One to probably take a note of as well, who's had a decent pre-season is Jesse Lingard. I think Solskjaer quoted as saying that he would have started the game at the weekend, the friendly. I think he's really in the forefront of his mind. So he's obviously played his way back into contention at United. I think he picked up COVID. I think that's the reason he missed the friendly. So he's picked up COVID, or he's been in a contact of COVID. But yeah, he's definitely one to keep an eye on. At 6.5 million, if he starts in a couple of weeks, if he starts playing for United, who've got a good run of fixtures, I think he's one definitely to get hold of with his goal scoring form. He absolutely blew everyone away at West Ham. I mean, we were just thinking it's just a little loan that's going to go nowhere. Jesse Lingard, not really interested in football, more interested in his jeans and his underwear and selling all that stuff. And next thing you know, he's pushing on England squad. Yeah, so fair play to him. Just a little bit of a nudge, obviously moving forward. There's go down to the cheaper options, because some players down there that obviously that people are looking at. Sarr at Watford, who had a decent year in the Premier League when they were last up there with them.
yeah.
6 million. He's probably nailed on to play every game. Danger man, obviously with the shot bonuses and stuff as being a midfielder.
I think he's on
0.4 for every
penalties
shot.
as well.
It makes him a little bit more attractive.
Yeah,
I think he could do all right. He's a danger, isn't he? No one likes playing against him. So fast. What do you reckon, James?
Yeah, I think Emil Smith Rowe. He's quite cheap, isn't he?
yeah.
A
5.5.
lot of people have been looking at him, so he could be potentially a very good player. Good value. Um, Maybe Martinelli at 5.5 if you can get a run in the Arsenal team. That's one to watch though.
What about Jack Harrison? He's 6.5 million, a million cheaper than Rafinha. There weren't many points between them last year.
Mm.
Yeah, great player,
Have
underrated.
you taken into account that Rafinha didn't sort of start? He didn't come until January, did he?
No,
Or
he's
didn't
got
he didn't get
came
into
in.
the team? So
Yeah, he might not got into. He was there at the start of the season though.
right, yeah.
Yeah, I think Harrison come good towards the end of the year as well.
Yeah,
He had a massive spurt of goal scoring exploits and stuff, but very talented player. Good signing for them. I think they're signing him permanently now. Yeah, 6.5 million. Obviously, Leeds, very good team, aren't they? They came up and did very well last year. We touched on in one of our other podcasts. Brian Hill,
yeah.
your mate, and 6 million down there for Spurs.
Played well last night in the Olympics for Spain.
You do well.
Yeah, he played really good. Unlucky not to obviously come away with a gold medal. But yeah, I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to seeing him play this season for Spurs.
yeah, definitely. Want to keep an eye on. Not something I'd touch probably instantly, but
Yeah,
we'll definitely want to just keep note of and see when he comes into that Spurs side. Another one who's had a good pre-season, good set of fixtures to start with as well. West Ham, Saeed Benrahma,
yeah,
always been talented. I remember him from his days at Brentford. This could be the year for him to shine at West Ham. Like I say, he's on some set pieces and stuff, and he loves a shot. So he's someone who's quite attractive at 6 million. Same price as Souček. Obviously, you touched on James, but yeah, we touched on a lot of it. What about Adama Traore? Probably going to get more game time now at Wolves with a new manager. And what do you reckon about him?
I'd probably wait and see with him.
Yeah,
I won't be picking him. See, because it's a new manager, we don't know what if he's going to play right wing back or he could be playing right sided forward, couldn't he? So
yeah,
we
true.
don't know yet. So yeah, wait and see. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's quite a few players at Wolves that have been quite lowly priced, isn't there?
yeah,
Like, if someone like Ruben Neves is only 6 million and Pablo Neto 6 million, so one of those could break out this year, couldn't they? If
yeah,
depending on the tactics of the manager.
yeah, definitely. Right, we'll move on to the forwards. So, yeah, obviously sat at the top there, 12 million, 1.5 million more than any other striker in the game. He's Harry Kane, but we don't know where he's going to end up. We don't know if he's Spurs, City, elsewhere. Might end up in Spain for all we know. But yeah, he's not someone I'd be touching instantly. Got to wait and see with that. I mean, when you're talking about cheap defences, James, he's the player, obviously, along with the midfielders that you can't seem to fit in without going very cheap in defence.
Yeah.
Just below him, 10.5 million, Lukaku. Is he in your thinking?
Yeah, he's in my team at the minute. He's in my draft.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I've got him in there for now because he's the closest player to Kane. So I could move up to Kane eventually if I wild card after like game week 3, the international break. But yeah, I've got him in there for the Palace game. I think he might start. So it could all change, couldn't it, by the time Friday comes round?
Yeah.
But yeah, he's in there.
I think the way they've priced it this year is that you've got your premiums that are super expensive, and then you've got uh, the guys at 9.5, 8.5, and 8 million. I would say are probably a bit overpriced in my opinion. So I think you either go well, you might want one premium and maybe one sort of 7.5er, I think.
Yeah.
There's no, I think there's too much value. There's more value in the midfield for me in fan team. Who's going to pay 9.5 million for Aubameyang or Vardy, or 8.5 for Jesus? So I think there's a lot in that sort of mid-tier bracket. There's a lot of overpriced players. I think you can find a lot more value around 7.5 million. There's quite a few options there.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Totally
I
agree.
think you're right. Yeah, definitely. Aubameyang, 9.5 million. I mean, after his performance last season, I probably have him priced at probably, what, 7?
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus, yeah, I like Jesus. I think he's a good player, but he's not a goal scorer. 8.5 million, overpriced.
Yeah.
Werner, I mean, he could bang this year. He could go off, but obviously with Lukaku incoming, he's definitely pushed wide. So he's
Yeah.
probably going to get in more assists than goals, I would
Yeah.
say. It's definitely going to affect his output. Or is Lukaku going to occupy them centre halves and leave that space in behind for Werner? And he was a goal scorer before he arrived at Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? He's not a bad player. But I'm not going to bang that drum too early. Like you say, I've looked further down, and I think the value's further down, definitely. Antonio, 7.5 million, West Ham. These are players everyone will be touching on. Iheanacho, obviously a little bit of rotation risk. There's a lot going on at Leicester. They've got a lot of options going forward, especially with Patson Daka coming in as well. But with his goal scoring form, I think last season, I think surely he's earned that right to lose his players kind of thing. But we'll see on that front. Danny Ings, Villa, 8 million.
Mm.
I like Danny Ings. He's a goal scorer. He's hungry.
I see Firmino's only 7.5 in fan team. He's 9 in FPL, isn't he?
Yeah.
Price to buy at 7.5, but I wouldn't touch him.
Yeah. I think
They've dangled that little carrot there, haven't they, to say, oh, it's only 7.5 million, but I don't know if I'd go there.
You'd probably rather have Jota, wouldn't you, in midfield? And
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. Bamford, 7.5. He seems to be from the discussions that I hear, I just think Bamford's been forgotten about a little bit. But he had a great year last year. He's still on penalties because he's not missed. So
Yeah. Bit of concern with Rodrigo there, though. I don't know. It's tricky, isn't it? With Rodrigo looked quite good at the end of last season. Bamford was playing every minute until he sort of came along, and I think Bamford's minutes will be managed a bit more this year.
He is always that guy you're sweating on at 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Is he gonna get past that 60-minute mark? Further down the list, Benteke at Crystal Palace. What do you think at 6 million?
Avoid.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. With Vieira coming in, then who knows how they're going to line up? What sort of tactics he's going to employ. I think they gave him a new contract this year, didn't they? So he did finish the season quite brightly.
He did.
Could have an Indian summer, but
he scored
we'll see.
A sackful for Villa, didn't he? And obviously got his move to Liverpool.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, though. I would avoid for now. I mean, if Vieira turns into Didier Drogba, we might reconsider.
Yeah, another man at 6 million. Ivan Toney. Everyone's talking about him. Obviously, beyond penalties for Brentford. Are Brentford going to be? They're really good football inside Brentford. Are they going to create enough? They've got some decent players in behind. But yeah, Tony's a good option at 6 million, isn't he? As a cheaper forward to enable you to probably put that money into midfield.
33 goals last year, 10 assists.
I think he's the standout in that bracket, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
What about? Sorry, you go, Tony.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say it'd be interesting if Oilad at Rovers Armstrong gets his move
Yeah.
It's rumoured that Palace are in for him. Palace and Southampton. If he does come into the Premier League, obviously with Southampton losing Ings, it's kind of a like for like that. It would be interesting because he probably was lowly priced as well. And him and Tony, obviously last year, Armstrong scored really well. He did really well for us. A very,
Yeah.
very good player. You'd have a
In
good
a similar
couple of options.
vein, sorry, Tony. In a similar vein to that, Origi, if he goes at 5 million, if he goes to West Ham, that could be a potential bargain at that price.
Definitely. I've not heard that rumour.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So one to keep an eye on.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I like Origi. I think he's a decent player. He's just he signed for Liverpool as and fair play to him. You've got to have confidence in your ability, haven't you? And you got to take these moves when they come across. But how much game time has he had over the last 3 or 4 years?
Last year, hardly played at all. The season before that, he was pivotal in a few games in the Champions League. If he hadn't come on and scored against Barcelona, we wouldn't have won the Champions League. But last year hardly played at all. Partly because I think the rest of the team, particularly the defence, was in turmoil, and I don't think Klopp felt that he could rotate like he could in previous seasons.
Yeah, it's understandable. I think that's a lot of the options up front touched upon. I think a lot of the thought process goes into the midfield. I think a lot of them premium players are in there, and it's getting the balance right between them, balancing the defence. It's a tricky job. Like you say, they priced it very well. Go on, James.
One player to note is Hurst. He's the only 4 million striker in the game, so he's a potential bargain. Well, not potential bargain, but a potential enabler, shall we say?
He's not going to get you many points,
Probably none,
but he might earn you some points in the player that you can put in instead of.
Do you know why he's not going to get you any points?
He's been transferred or loaned.
He's out on loan to Portsmouth.
Is he?
Yeah.
Go on, Hurst. Well, there we are. But yeah, that's everything covered. That's the player pool covered. Obviously, we touched on the new rules and stuff. Great game, fan team. If you're not signed up, we're going to leave a link below. Get yourselves signed up. Get your team in. £20 entry. 200k to the winner. Guaranteed. £1 million prize pool. I think it's the top 5,000 places paid.
Yeah.
Played the Euros. They had 5 teams in the Euros, and I got a return of all 5 teams. So I never lost a bean. I obviously earned. And it's also good fun. But yeah, we will be back, and we're going to reveal our teams with you shortly, and we'll see how you feel about it. All right, cheers, guys. Cheers for listening.
Cheers, mate.